Hello, listeners. Welcome to the Strength and Recovery Podcast. I'm your host, Jaye Rodenbush, the Director of Alumni Engagement for Recovery Centers of America. Today, I am at our Indianapolis facility. It's on the northwest side of Indianapolis, a full inpatient and outpatient treatment center here. Do some great work with amazing staff members. And I'm sitting down with our Alumni Coordinator. His name is Ben DeCamp, and he's been with RCA. How long have you been with RCA?
Almost a year on November 15th.
Yes, almost a year. Came in as an RSS. We quickly scooped him up to be the Alumni Coordinator here. And this week, our Senior Alumni Coordinator from Earlville, Maryland, our Bracebridge facility, Vince Douglas, is also with us.
Yes, I'm very happy to be here.
So welcome, and it's November, and everyone starts really, I think there's just a renewed focus on gratitude and being thankful. And so I asked if we could just sit down today and just have a discussion about gratitude and get your thoughts, pick your brain. When you start working in recovery and really peeling back the onion of what recovery looks like, gratitude is one of the first layers you get to. And so I think would be really cool to just hear your perspectives, and maybe we could just start with how do you define gratitude?
Me, Vince, me?
Either one, jump in.
So I don't know the only definition I have comes from a Hallmark card that I found
I love
recently.
a good Hallmark card.
And it said, gratitude is a memory of the heart, and the heart remembers, or the heart never forgets. And I love that card.
Say that again.
It says, gratitude is a memory of the heart, and the heart never forgets, is what the card says. And so,
that's cool.
My first, real encounter with gratitude, where, I noticed it was just that. I was in sober living. I just arrived at my sober living facility after 45 days in rehab. And my first thought, which a lot of people have when they get to that point, is I could use right now and nobody's going to know. That was the first thought after 45 days. And I was a little disappointed to have that thought come to me. And the very next thought was this woman named Patty, who spent 45 days with me at Laverne Lodge, helping me through treatment and teaching me about the 12 steps in recovery and the whole thing. And I was so grateful for her. I was by myself, and I just bawled my eyes out just thinking about Patty and thinking about how much time, not just her, but the whole staff spent with me, and how I didn't want to make that phone call that I relapsed, and I didn't want them to receive that phone call that day. And that kept me sober, just a gratitude for all the work that was put in on me, and just all the people that helped me get into treatment to begin with, and just the whole thing. I was so grateful for it. I was so grateful to have that help. That was just overwhelming. I started crying, and so that card stuck out to me for that reason. The heart remembers those types of things, man. To really that's what gratitude is to me. I don't know. Does that answer it?
Absolutely. What about you, Ben?
I can definitely agree with what Ben said, especially the Hallmark card. I haven't heard that before, and that's pretty much it. It's when I can have a certain sense of perspective towards perhaps what it was like, what I have, to what it could be like. It's a lens shift in where I can see through, if you will, my heart, or I can see through what things have been like, or I can see through the lens of others, right? Because sometimes we have certain blessings that other people don't get a chance to see, and that's something to be grateful for. Or you don't have to go through a situation that others are in, and that's something you can be grateful for. It's the recognition of almost things could be worse, and that automatically brings me gratitude. I woke up this morning, and I'm here in Indianapolis, and it may not be a lot for some people, but that is nothing short of a miracle for me, because I know what my life was like. I know what it was like looking out of a bar cell, staring at a sunset. Now I'm in a hotel, staring at the sunset, and just nothing short of a miracle, because I can look and see what life was like and what life is like now. And like, I'm not ripping and running, trying to go get the next one. I'm sitting there just, this is it.
Being paid to come halfway across the country to talk about recovery and to help people, right? Like, is that
yeah. For free, I'd do it because,
right.
I wasn't doing nothing. I was a bum. Like that, and I know that. I'm not fooling myself like, oh, I was so sophisticated or smarter. I know exactly who I was, and I knew who I wasn't, and I know who I am today. Mm-hmm. So I'm grateful for that. Gratitude is an action word, and I carry it out, for the things that I have.
How do you think getting sober helps you appreciate the little things in life?
A lot of what Vince said. So, like, early on, a guy said, I've never seen a grateful alcoholic or addict pick back up. And I called my sponsor and I asked him if he believed that. And he said, yeah, 100% I believe that. And I really had to focus on it. I already had the one experience with the gratitude where I recognized it, but that seemed like too simple. Like, how can you just say all you got to do is be grateful and you'll stay sober? But that's before you comprehend how much work goes into.
Yeah, that sounds like a really big deal. Like, I just have to be grateful, and that's all I got. That sounds on the surface like a big leap.
Right. So why not just have one step, be grateful, and that's it, right? But man, a lot of work goes into. That's what the steps do. Like, they chip away at that self-pity and that victim mentality. Those are some of the patterns that I saw in my 4-step was entitlement. Ooh, lots of entitlement. A lot of things I thought I deserved. A lot of victim mentality. This happened to me. No gratitude. Like, there were no patterns of gratitude, of just being grateful. I just wanted more, and I thought I deserved all this stuff. To the point where I'm a year sober. I remember when I started this job, I was early on in recovery. I was through the steps and everything, and I had a pickup truck that I spent $3,000 on, and I'm 40 years old and I'm in sober living, and I'm going, man, like, life's amazing. Like, I'm the happiest I've ever been. But like, if you had told me when I was 25 that when you turn 40, you're going to be in sober living and you're going to be driving a $3,000 truck, I was going, no, that's not like, kill me now. I think it's going through so much pain to where you can be grateful for just being. It starts with just simple things. I'm just grateful I'm not in a detox bed every day. That's my number one. I wake up every day, I'm just beyond grateful I'm not in a detox bed or in jail or some horrible place. So,
and do you have a routine to express that?
Every day, 5 things I'm great. I do a list, and there's about 50 guys on there, and we do 5 things we're grateful for, and then we send the prayer hands up every day. We don't start our day without it. I couldn't imagine leaving the house without doing it.
So is this via text, or where do you do it?
It's an app called Group Me.
Oh, okay.
And so my group did that, and so my point is, it's a tool. I was told it's a tool we have to sharpen every day. Because just like acceptance, there's levels to gratitude. Like, you can be grateful to get a brand new car, but can you be grateful just to wake up sober? Can you be grateful? And it starts with that list, and it starts with the way we talk every day, where we say, where early on I'd say, man, I have to go to work today. And somebody said, no, you get to go to work today. And I hated that so much, but that's how it works, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's the shift. It's the, you're taking stuff for granted. Mm-hmm. You're taking things for granted. Mm-hmm. The very things in which, we were in a position of once praying for, we're getting now. And you talked about the shift in perspective. It's from victimization to, the truth and the reality and letting that set in. That takes work. Every morning I don't wake up. There's plenty of times where I'm naturally grateful, but, it does take work. Mm. It does take, it's not so much just naturally coming to me all the time. I have to do the work to receive it. Take time to reflect on what it was like. Take time to see what it could be like, and I really have to identify and seek.
And being ungrateful is easier, right?
Absolutely. It's a natural, almost
Isn't
in
that our
world.
default?
Yes.
It's our default position to, this happened to me, or that guy cut me off in traffic. And,
I have so many years
negativity.
Of ungrateful self-pity and negative mindset, and I'm up against that every morning. Mm-hmm. Some days, yes, it's natural, it's there, right? Some days I gotta search a little bit. I gotta, I'm not in a jail cell, right? I got to find that because I might be on I have luxury problems today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I have luxury problems today, which is I got to give my son a bath. I never thought I'd be able to raise a kid, right? That's a luxury problem.
And I think it works the same way in relationships too, right? Like my husband leaves his socks beside the bed, leaves them there probably every day. There's a laundry basket right there, socks are on the floor. I could get really upset about that, or I can look at those socks and go, my husband came home last night and he's a good man and I'm blessed and I get to pick these socks up and
that's the next level. So those are the things that we are, my sponsor would ask me to put on the gratitude list, grateful for my husband's socks on the floor or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Because then behind that, it's grateful to have a husband. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Grateful for those relationships or those things.
My biggest problem with my significant other is they forget to put their socks in the laundry basket. That's it could go one way. Why can't he put the socks away? Or
well, in those things, if you get really fussy on those things, then they lead to big things, right? You start questioning the whole
Love.
Thing, right?
Yeah.
Well, if he respected me a little more, he'd put that, and it grows.
Yeah.
The resentment grows, right?
Yes.
How is gratitude linked? We talk, in the 12 steps in recovery, they talk a lot about resentments and getting them out and dealing with resentments, not letting them build up. How is gratitude and resentment linked?
So resentment is the complete opposite. It's a harbored feeling, which is you many things cause resentment, right? Like hate, jealousy, envy, all these different ugly emotions, negativity, right? Will lead me there, and it changes me. I go dark. I am comparing in a negative aspect, and I can't relate. I'm blocked off from connecting to you as a human being. And then on the other side of gratitude, so if you will, these emotions, hate and love. Right. Gratitude unlocks me and allows me to see the good in life, the joys, the humility, the humanity, the empathy, the compassion, all these different emotions that are what keep us going, that connects us, right? They always say, I used to hear this all the time, the opposite of addiction isn't sobriety, it's connection. I heard this all the time, and it's true, right? Because love connects. Hate doesn't. Hate divides. So if you look at these, in reality, there's only two real emotions, hate and love. Everything else is a branch.
And it can be difficult to connect, especially when you've embraced isolation as a defense mechanism.
Yes. But if we can find commonality, now we're moving forward. It's I thought prior to doing a fourth and a fifth step, right, recovery related, I thought nobody would know what it's like. You don't know what it's like to be me. And then you find out they walk through the same stuff. It's oh, you did that too? And that's
it's the human experience.
Yeah, and now we're connecting, right?
Yeah.
And then ultimately I'm connecting to this source of power that you want to find gratitude, have that. Have this source of power in a relationship with a higher power, God, in your life. And wow, there's nothing short of more gratifying than that. Because there's a source of this energy that's there that I know if I didn't find it, I wouldn't be sitting here today. That's gratitude.
Who is someone throughout this journey that you gained wisdom for, or from, or that you're grateful for today, and what's something they said that you're grateful for today?
It's without a doubt my sponsor and my grand sponsor, my sponsor's sponsor. They were around early on, and a lot of this comes down to willingness, right? Like Vince and I talked a lot about willingness yesterday. I was willing to do whatever it took to get sober for once, and I finally got sober. And some of the first concepts brought to me were these resentments, gratitude, self-pity. These were all choices. And then I had to, I never looked at it that way. I was no, I get what you're saying, but this happened to me. These things happened to me. And cool, I get that. But we have to accept and we have to make a decision. Are we are we going to choose gratitude, which and they were saying this is the way to do it. Like choose change your perspective, choose the gratitude, or are you going to choose self-pity and victim mentality, which is comfortable and it might even be fun, but like it doesn't do any good. So those are the main. Yes, my sponsor, and for that, like that specific reason. That seems like a small thing, but early on, I didn't have anyone break it down to me like that before. Like this is a choice. Like these mindsets are a choice. And
it probably wasn't a very comfortable conversation,
right?
Right?
Not at all. No. I even wanted to. My goal when I was around 4 to 6 months sober, my plan was to talk to my sponsor about the way he talks to me, and tell him that he needs to adjust his way of sponsoring to be a little kinder and softer, because I didn't like. I mean, because he was tough. But he would say those things, and I would wrestle with him and want to disprove them because he offended me in certain ways, the way he would say things. And I'd sit there and lay in bed and like think about like, man, he's right. So yeah, I never did have that conversation about change your approach or anything like that, because these are that's how we've been wired for so long, right? And somebody's telling you to think about it a different way or look at things a different way. Like, what do you mean?
No, this is how it is. This is the way it's been for years. You can't tell me that it's different other than the way I see it, because I'm selfish.
Right.
And my way is the right way. How I see the world is how everybody should see the world.
And how you see the hurts and the disappointments.
Yes. The same person who walked through a situation similar as I didn't get hooked on drugs and alcohol. Instead, they stayed away. Right, because we had choice of seeing what it was going to do. Mine was like, this hurt and this pain is, how can I get through this? Someone else, this hurt and their pain is like, I'm going to get through this. It's an energy factor, and it will either destroy you or build you, and we do have choice over that. But it's placing ourselves in the position to see the choice, to be conscious to that. And
what's something you remember from early recovery that someone said to you? Who were they? What was it? And that made you grateful?
So there was many people that were instrumental in getting me here and keeping me going in the beginning. But there was this, I got sober in Chestertown, Maryland, and there was this little lady who was probably about 73 years old. I'm 27 at the time. And we're in a meeting, and they're talking about the 12 steps, and I'm not there yet. I just got a sponsor. I'm not sure about a lot of different things. I knew I had a problem, and I knew I had to stay sober. I didn't know how. And they were talking about the 5th step, and then she comes up to me after the meeting. She grabs me, and she says, "Vince, if you don't do a 4th, you'll drink a 5th."
Okay, tell us what 4th and 5th is.
So your fourth step is a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves, and our 5th step is admitting to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. And I was like, wow, I got to take a searching and fearless moral inventory, not just of yesterday, of my whole life.
Right.
And there's a lot there. I've been resentful since I was like 6 years old. I've had these negative emotions that will take you far away from gratitude. Far away from gratitude, that's for sure. And I have to go through it all and sit down and open up to a higher power and another person, which is like, these are secrets.
You got to be vulnerable.
But in the vulnerability, it allows us to connect. And that's where I find gratitude. Now, today I can look back on all that pain, that suffering that I thought was, and I'm grateful for all of it. Like that life that I thought I wanted to kill myself over, I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful for that thought, because in that thought, I saw the choice. In that pain, I saw the choice to either live or die, and I chose to live. And here we are today discussing gratitude. That's where it's at.
As far as quotes go, the people I know a guy said, one of the things that stuck out to me is, the depths of my anxiety is a direct measure of my distance from God. And my concept of God, just a higher power. Like the closer, The closer I stay to the herd, which my higher power has just been my sponsor in this entire fellowship and all these people that have helped me, which I have no problem calling God now, and it's been evolving for 19 months. The closer I stay to that and act out of God's will, not my will, like for me, it's like a physical thing, like what people would tell me to do, what my sponsor and my therapist and my outpatient therapist and all these people, it's a lot of people that have been involved in my recovery. When I do the things they tell me to do, life goes really well. When I pull back on those things is when things get bumpy. And when I start to take matters in my own hands, that's when the anxiety comes, man. When I try to navigate things myself, when I get away from my higher power, that's where my anxiety breeds. So I like that quote a lot. But what you're just talking about, like finding when it really takes off is when life really takes off, and when recovery really takes off is like finding the gratitude in being in this program and finding gratitude. To say I'm a grateful addict and alcoholic is the craziest thing ever, because that was like my biggest source of like shame and guilt and all that stuff. And now I look at it, it's like it's my superpower, right? To be grateful for every arrest, every trip to the detox beds, all of it, because there's a lot of pain and misery that a lot of people be like, yeah, I could do without that. Like all those things contributed to me being in the spot where I am now, which is the happiest I've ever been, and living the life I think I was always supposed to live. So I like a lot of what you said, man, just being grateful for that journey, all the relapses. Like you couldn't tell me there was a reason for a relapse, right? To be back in that same position. And now I see the reason. It happened the way it was supposed to.
At RCA this month, we're calling it, we kind of created this theme, Attitude of Gratitude Month. What is the warning sign? You're maybe in early recovery, you've been practicing gratitude, you're writing your gratitude list. What would be warning signs that maybe you're moving away from that attitude of gratitude?
Thinking you don't need this anymore. I don't need to go to meetings. I don't need a sponsor anymore. I don't need this. I don't need to connect with other people. I got this. Thinking that just me being physically removed from a drug or a drink, I got this. And like you get some time and you think you got this, and then you stop doing what it is that got you there.
And how does that relate to gratitude?
That relates to gratitude because you forgot. You forgot. You forgot the pain, suffering, and things that you just went through. And you think you got this. Make no mistake about it, we're dying left and right because people forget. And gratitude never allows me to forget. Similar to what Ben said in the beginning. They say a grateful addict will never pick up. And I find that to be true. Now, it takes work to get to gratitude, but that's true. It's a sad truth. People forget.
How to stay in that memory, how to stay, because we have really good forgetters, is what one of my friends would say.
They're built in.
Love that.
Yeah. How many times did you go, oh man, I made it through detox, man. Well, get high today and reward yourself. You can do it again. It wasn't that bad. You survived it. And then like a week later, why did I pick back up? And you're through it all over again. To finally have some, I just have really firm memories that I won't let myself forget, that are no longer acceptable to me. But it's a process. It's work to stay grateful. There's days, most days I can get pretty, before I leave my house, I can get myself almost moved to tears when I really think about everything, even talking about right now. Like I get choked up when I think about the people that have helped me. And there's days that scare the heck out of me where I can't get there, where I'm not getting the tears behind my eyes and I'm going, ooh, be careful today. But at least I'm aware of it, right? And like I talk about it. Like, man, I'm not feeling this grateful. Like, I don't know, because I believe there's levels to it, and I believe it can change by the day. My worst day in recovery, my very worst day in recovery, I was in sober living at 40 years old, and I was aware of it, and I was like, man, you're 40 years old, you shouldn't be in sober living, you should have a nicer car than that. Like, all those things I was talking about, like, they weren't there for me that day, and it didn't go away. Like, it was a day-long thing. I woke up the next day, and I was fine. But that day, I did my gratitude list. I still wasn't feeling it, and I felt vulnerable. But at least I was aware of it. And I knew about. I don't know. I think that's our natural state is to look at life like that. Look at what you don't have.
Yes. I'm selfish. So I'm looking at what I don't have because you have that and I don't. And, even those days where you're not as grateful, I find that even those days are needed, because if everything was grateful, if I was grateful all the time, I wouldn't be grateful. It would just be me. I need pain to know joy. I need those bad days. It's character development. It's perseverance. It's resilience. Things that I need. I need that too, because there comes a time where I have to push.
That day taught me the importance of gratitude, though, right? And so the days where I'm low on acceptance, man. So how are you going to get all these principles, all the patience, the tolerance, the gratitude, the acceptance? You got to work on them. You got to want them. Right?
And you gotta trust the process and go through some stuff, and that's okay. We all do it. That's life. There's stuff there, but there's also gratitude there.
Okay, so I'm sitting here and trying to think, like maybe a family member, and all of a sudden seeing their loved one, that quick change, or not quick, but that change, and they're practicing gratitude, and now they're, and the loved one looking on and saying, "Is this real?" How do you start living in this new lifestyle and still bring along the people that are with you that may be doubting that situation at first? Like, who are you? And what's this new lifestyle?
Let them doubt.
Yeah.
That's not my business. Let them doubt. My actions will display more than anything else.
But it's got to be discouraging, right?
Sure.
When you're putting in the work and you found this new freedom, you found this hope, you found all, you've got the little bit of joy and you're thankful, and people are looking at you sideways.
Yeah. My first reaction when I really had the spiritual change, was I wanted everyone to get sober. I'd see somebody drinking a beer, like, "Hey man, come to recovery." It's attraction, not promotion. And there's people that I want them to get sober so badly, like people that I love to death, that I hope they get it someday. And I did. I made the mistake of trying to get early recovery, trying to get them trying to get too involved in their life, and that's when you have to practice acceptance. Like nothing happens in God's world by mistake. They have their own path. We can be there. We can plant seeds, and we can, again, attraction, not promotion. Like I hope people see what we have, and hopefully they'll want it. And if they come and ask for it, like, "Hey, this is how I did it. Hopefully it works for you." But I don't know. I can't get wrapped up too much. One thing I've never done since I got sober was tell somebody I'm sober and I'm doing different. Like I'd always come out of rehab like, "I'm different. I don't use it anymore." I didn't say anything this time, because I wasn't sure whether to believe myself or not. I'd messed up so many times.
That's when you knew there was something different.
I think so. I mean, yeah, I knew my words didn't matter anymore. To your point, it was gonna come from actions. Yeah. My mom wasn't gonna benefit one bit from me saying, "Hey, Mom, I'm sober now."
Yeah, let me set up my mom for another broken promise. No, I don't want to do that. And that for me too was like a shift in that. But people, for not necessarily are they addicts or alcoholics, just genuine relationships and stuff like that. I think they're right. They're probably right to doubt. My experience is I will mess up, and that's okay. Now, for the individual who's walking through that and has to deal with it, it is discouraging. That's why you got to surround yourself who've been through that. The Alumni Association, individuals who have already been through that are there waiting, just happy to help assist, and as are we, it's okay. Trust the process. I got to go through individuals thinking I'm going to fail. There's something magic that happens through getting through that, right? Everybody is like, he is not going to make it. He's going to be right back out there on the streets doing the same thing. But you keep your nose to the grindstone, right? And you trust God, and you keep moving forward. There's something that happens to your spirit. And that just builds this grind. Is the best, not in a hustle mentality, just this, I can do it. This belief that you are okay, you can do this. And that's for someone who hasn't felt confidence, that's a miracle. It's like, I can do this. You start to believe, you start to have hope in all of that, despite what other people think, and you start to free yourself from that moving forward. Like, I can't carry the opinions of others around now, right? I can't.
That's a weight.
Yes. Absolutely.
I actually love it. So it's really, I'm in a weird situation where, I mean, I'm technically still in early recovery, right? I'm around getting close to coming up on 2 years, but I speak at a lot of meetings. I do a lot of stuff in recovery. I work here. And so like in the recovery world, like I've done some things, I'm doing some things, but like with my family and friends, like for my dad, like it wasn't that long ago, he found me overdosed in a car. I mean, it's just how it is. I mean, they're still like wait and see mode with me.
Oh, yeah.
Where like but I have my friends in recovery to pick me up, and I'm involved with them, and there's so many people that can't string together 7 days sober. So 2 years is 18 months, 19 months is a big deal to them and to us. In the real world, they're like, hey man, like I don't know, we're not. We still remember what it was like not too long
you got
ago.
15 years of doing the wrong thing.
Right.
2 years isn't fixing 15 years.
I need it though. Like it's none of my business. That's like I don't know. I just, for whatever reason, I walked out of a friend's birthday party and they're going, man, all right. They're looking at me as some guy who's like white knuckling it and might just pick up today. I can just tell by talking to them. They're like, oh, it hasn't been that long, man. Like, are you doing okay? Are you doing okay? Were the comments where in recovery, my friend's like, you're doing awesome, man. High fives. Yeah. I need both. I need to remember how bad it was not that long ago. That's where I'll be very quickly if I stop doing the things that I'm doing today.
Looking back, I'm grateful for those people who don't believe in me. I don't resent them, hate them, or have anything. Our book says they're sick people, right? Because I know at times I've thought that way, right? And that's when I was sick. Right? Instead of loving and tolerant and hoping and wishing for the best, right? That all comes from negative emotions. Today, I'm grateful for it because it did something to me that, and it brought that pain, right? Because there was originally some pain with people doubting, like that hurts, And I had to go through that to get to where like, it's me versus me at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. I get that. It's me versus me. Their opinion is going to be whatever, and it's me versus me. But that me versus me mentality came from individuals doubting me. And like I had to question myself, right? Because I'm the type that I will take on the opinions of others, right? And like if I'm not good enough, and you say that, I feel that.
Someone's sitting there today, and they're just getting started, and they're struggling with gratitude. Where would you tell them to start?
I think the first one, are you physically addicted to anything right now? Like physically, right? You're not sick. That's for me, that was like top of the list. And then 2, like
when you can say, I'm free from addiction today.
Yeah, physically, right? Physically, I am not dependent. And that's a first step in what, the book talks about. Physical, mental, and spiritual are these 3 components in which we're going to address. The physical is honestly the simplest part, but it's the first thing I find gratitude in, right? Because I feel it. I feel it immediately, right? Oh my! I went to sleep the first time in 30 days. You can't sleep, and you sleep. There's something to be grateful for. You're here. You're not 6 feet under. That's something to be grateful for. Just look. It's there.
My first higher power, Patty, she'd been sober 30 years, 30 years by the time I came to treatment. And one of the things that really drew me to her is every morning she came in and did this big gratitude list, and like you could tell she felt it. And she was so happy. She was grateful for the sunrise and her dogs and her coffee and all these things, and you could tell she meant it, and it kind of made me mad. Not like
was too happy.
It was, yeah. It's like it's 7:30 in the morning. You're going, what? What's going on here? But I knew she knew the program, and I knew if I followed what she said that maybe some of it would stick. Anyway, I started doing my gratitude list, and it was just a fake it till you make it type thing. Like whatever was in front of me, I would try. Like, I was grateful for my breakfast and my coffee. It was really little things, and I still thought this is really stupid. And but it's working for her, and my sponsor agrees with it. And I'm just the longer I did it, the more I could start to feel things. But like big thing. Like I'm grateful. I was grateful I had a roof over my head and I wasn't using today. I'm grateful I was receiving care and getting help. But it wasn't this outpouring. Like my heart wasn't overwhelmed with. I wasn't feeling. It took me months to feel it, or at least like 45 days maybe, to really start to feel it and start to understand like the power of it, and many more months, 9, 10, 12 months sober, before I could look back and see how, like, man, your perspective has changed. Like your head goes to gratitude before self-pity and victim.
Yeah.
Like it's a slow thing, just like everything else. There's no pill or easy answers. Like it's work. It doesn't feel like work though. It was enjoyable, and it was it just took like the extreme willingness. Like I have to do, like I will do whatever is told to me, whether it's a gratitude list that I think is stupid every single day. And it was small things. I mean, I don't know, whatever was around me.
Yeah, I think sometimes we just overlook the simplest blessings in our life, and we're not connected to how grateful we should be to them because we take them for advantage.
Yeah.
Like a bed. Like a bed is something that I'm extremely grateful for. I wake up and I make my bed every morning. It's the first thing I do. And I pray while I do it. I'm not like a formal hit my knees, but I am mentally praying while I am making my bed, and I'm tightening these corners. Because I know what it's like to not have a bed, and like that, a bed is something to be luxurious, and I just appreciate a bed.
Yeah.
You know, I have somewhere to sleep. For years I didn't. Or the state of Maryland and state of Delaware said, I'll give you a place to sleep. Don't worry about it. And you won't enjoy it too much. You know, so I am grateful I wake up, make my bed. I have food, so I clean the dishes. You know, I have a bathroom. I clean the bathroom. You know, we just overlook them sometimes.
It shouldn't be hard to find things to be grateful for if you live in the richest country in the history of the world, right?
Yes.
I mean, we have so many things every day to be grateful for. It's impossible to see when you're out there.
Running water.
Running water.
You know, I've had the capacity to see what civilization looks like without that.
Yeah.
And I think what I hear in your voice is, it's not just saying, I'm grateful for running water, but it's the remembering when I didn't have running water.
Yes, absolutely.
It's not just having a bed or having a bathroom. It's the times when maybe you were looking for a place to get a shower, or not even caring if you had a shower.
I'm connected to it.
You're connected.
Memory of the heart.
Yes, I'm connected to all of it, past, present, and future. They talk about it in the book. We'll be rocketed into the fourth dimension. I can see all of it.
That comparison. I could be versus I am.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you, gentlemen. I would just like to say I am grateful that I get to work with you every day. I love our Alumni Association team. I really do. I think you guys are just incredible. You do awesome work. Your testimony is powerful. What you give on a day-to-day basis of yourselves to our patients and to our alums is incredible. So thank you. And I'm grateful.
Of course. And we're grateful for you right back.
Absolutely.
Listeners, if we can help you today, reach out to Vince, reach out to Ben, reach out to me. We'd love to talk to you about recovery, about finding gratitude, about finding treatment for yourself or for a loved one. Give us a call, 1-833-RCA-ALUM. Thank you for joining us today for the Strength and Recovery podcast. Real people, real experiences, real hope. This podcast is presented by the Alumni Association of Recovery Centers of America. If you're interested in learning more, visit rcaalumni.com. Here, you can fill out our web form to make sure you're receiving our daily recovery emails and are notified of special events. The Alumni Association of RCA exists to connect individuals to an active recovery community. It is our goal to work with alumni to help them succeed, belong, and ultimately serve others. We help our alumni succeed by hosting more than 120 recovery support meetings per month, with both virtual and in-person offerings of big book studies, speaker meetings, beginners meetings, Monday through Friday daily inspiration meetings, meetings for men and women, and faith-based meetings. Second, we create a welcoming community that provides a sense of belonging with a full calendar of events each month. Speaker series, barbecues, holiday celebrations, bowling, sporting events, theater shows, and much more. Thirdly, we provide an opportunity for our alumni to serve both the recovery community and in our local neighborhoods. We offer speaker commitments, chair commitments, mentoring opportunities in our facilities, volunteering at food banks, recovery, and overdose awareness events. We look forward to having you with us again soon. Recovery Centers of America provides inpatient and outpatient treatment and has locations in Massachusetts, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Maryland, Indiana, and Illinois. Recovery Centers of America, or RCA, was founded to break down barriers to expert treatment. We answer the phone and admit patients 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, are in network with major insurance providers, and provide evidence-based treatment in our world-class facilities. If you or someone you know needs help, call 1-800-RECOVERY and know we are here for you.